What's going on, you late night motherfuckers? And giant hugs. Alright, this video obviously nothing to do with the market. It has to do more with like strategic placement of where you're going to be moving to. There's a lot of people, when they make money, one of the things they want to do is they want to move out of the area that they're in and go to someplace else. And this is obviously an important thing because of the time that we're in right now in America. I'm only going to talk about America because in other countries, the dynamics are totally different. This also includes Canada. So, you guys knew originally I was going to go down to Florida, and there's nothing wrong with Florida. Florida, at the end of the day, if you're central or northern Florida, it's good to go. You're in a good spot just because it doesn't take a long time to transport food and supplies down to the tip of Florida. So like Miami, Naples, Key West, that's not necessarily where you want to go to with high fuel prices and truckers that may be going on strike. Let me explain to you a little bit behind that. Across the country, truckers are based out of certain states. So there's certain states where at the end of the day, you know, let's face it, they're not required to do the whole vaccination and all that stuff like that. So they kind of like, you know, they're in a good part of the country. Other parts of the country can become a little bit more problematic. When the economies get bad, like high fuel prices, inner city crime, interstate highway crime, which is something that happens in Mexico a lot, and it will come up here. You need to make sure that you're living in an area that can sustain the local economy. The reason why I say that is because I've seen this happen in other parts of the world. The idea of a lone highway moving hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods and produce and medical and whatever, the future is going to be real bad for that type of transport. So while Florida, northern Florida, central Florida is a good safe place with tons of fresh water and farmland also, you know, I just thought to myself, with the storms that come up that area, I said to myself, you know, it was a good possibility and strong possibility. So if people want to go down there, good conservative, like-minded type people, very pro-freedom, Second Amendment, yada yada, good government, whatever. The further south you get, the more radical it gets. So, and there's no food production down there, so I wouldn't go down there. When you start taking a look at the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, that's basically, and I'll tell you, most of the people from the intelligence community that I know, that I've come across, that I worked with, they're all in that area, okay? So they're in that area, you know, let's just, you know, Ozark-ish, you know, because plenty of water. It's kind of hard to farm there, but you can farm there. Not near anything, you know, major and dangerous. So, you know, it's okay, it's good, just rocky soil. Nice people too. Really nice people. And conservative, you know, free mindset as far as like, you know, being libertarian, not liberal rule. Very strong candidate if you were going to move into that area. You know, the more Tennessee-ish around there, you could, you know, expand a little bit around. But yeah, good to go. I'm just telling you based on the people that I know that are doing the moves, that work with government and high-level motherfuckers that have been planning this for years, like homes, bunkers, yada yada yada. The Northeast, this is my neck of the woods. It's kind of tragic. Why? Because this has become the radical zone of America. Okay? A corner of Virginia, DC, Baltimore, going up to Philadelphia, you know, Maryland, all that corner, going up into Jersey. That's like, has a lot of conservative people, but radical government. Not a place, in a lot of inner city ghettos, a lot of highways that cross over these cities where you don't want to be crossing over. So that's like no joy. Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, yes, that's good. Heading up north to the New York, Western New York, the farmlands up there, yeah. I know a couple of peoples that selected that place just because of the fact that conservative mindset, farmland, water, hunting, yada yada, and everybody's like that on the same page. It's almost like Texas up there. Once you start leaving that region of New York, Vermont, it's run by the people, but it has pretty radical thought type shit there. But it's run by the people, so it's a 50-50 thing. Once you start going into Massachusetts, a lot of conservative people in Massachusetts, but the government is fucking crazy. It's radical. Once you go further than that, and you get into Maine, Maine has some really hardcore conservative, rugged people, farmlands. You grow anything there, strawberries, whatever, potatoes. I mean, has water, has hunting. I mean, like, that is a good area, but it's too close on the other side of a radical area. So if we ever have a split in government, the Northeast is basically going to go bye-bye, and you're going to be out there. So I don't know what's going to happen with that stuff, but I have my speculations on what. So anything north of, like, let's say DC up, unless you're heading west, like West Virginia, the west side of Virginia, Pennsylvania on the west side, towards, like, that area out there, which is like totally different. Not going into Pittsburgh. Okay, New York State, once you go up into the farmlands, Western New York, the Northern New York, yeah, then you have a lot of conservative people up there. You may say, Lou, why is conservative so good? Well, you don't tend to have those like wild fucking Antifa type people burn society down, raid supermarkets. You have more people that want to take care of their community. It's something that you need when things go south, okay? So I cover basically the eastern seaboard from Maine all the way down to Florida. Now let's bring over to the Midwest. The most solid state right now in the Midwest, believe it or not, it's not Texas, it's South Dakota. So I'm just gonna let you know that. And a lot of heavy motherfuckers in like intelligence agencies and stuff like that, former military contractor type people with the intelligence community, whatever, South Dakota. So that's where they got to. Very strong, freedom protecting type government. They're on point. Texas, love Texas to death. Here's my take on Texas. The people of Texas, solid. The government of Texas, being infiltrated. So it can go either way on how it goes, because a lot of people came in with the mindset of changing Texas. So Texas is one of these things right now where they're battling it out. You understand? And you're going to get a new governor and a couple of other things are going to happen. They stood up for the abortion stuff, and you may say, why is that important? Listen to me. Just listen to me on that one, okay? Just kind of shows where the government's mindset is at. In the future, local governments are going to have to make decisions on whether people should be receiving medical procedures. I'll leave it at that, so this way YouTube doesn't whatever. And you got to go to a government that at the end of the day respects your health and medical decisions. That's very important. So keep going up. Obviously, Midwest states, the breadbasket of America, solid food, water, hunting, conservative mindset, good work ethic people, pretty much traditional in the way of thinking, and they have an infrastructure that can sustain the communities. And because of the fact that it's within a region where food production is a way of life, that area will always have food. They're not going to take food from there and truck it to New York City. That is going to be ending. Let me tell you something. Availability is going to be the key word, not desire. Like, what you want to eat. No, it's going to be what's available to eat. And the more you're in these zones, what they call now blue cities, it's going to be based on availability. I can tell you, because I go to supermarkets here, and Whole Foods, the shelves are empty. And I look at it at a different way than the other people. Oh my God, let me get this New Zealand yogurt. Go fuck your mother. But where's the other yogurts? You see refrigerators empty. So I'm keeping an eye on that motherfucker. So availability is going to be the key word in America when America used to have abundance. So from abundance to availability, please understand that is the future. Going further up, you get into the Chicago, Wisconsin area. No joy. But northern Michigan, going into the the Ohio's and stuff like that, it's like a split. Half the state yes, half the state no. You can understand what I'm talking about. Rural is important. You need it. You need it for food production, water. You need it for a lot of things. Small towns equal survival. Small towns equal survival. Listen to what I'm telling you. Small towns equal survival. Big cities are going to be chaos. One day when there's an issue with power, when there's an issue with food distribution, the lawlessness that's going to happen in it. Listen, you take a city like New York, something happens where people don't show up to work because they have to be, and they say, you know what, we're not going to work. Things like water being available at the tap may not happen. It takes a lot of motherfuckers to keep that system going. And the subway, and the electricity, and the healthcare, and everything. And now we have people that are going to basically walk off their jobs. Imagine a national strike and you're in the middle of a city. You know what that is? That's a concrete desert. Nothing grows here. There's no water. There's nothing. You technically have 72 hours to just, or, one of those types of things. So that's the reason why people are making these decisions now. Then you come into the neck of the woods where I'm looking at right now, which is the Nebraska, Iowa, Montana, Wyoming, and you may say, why? Food, water, like-minded individuals, strong laws as far as American rights, governments that kind of understand that the people there won't take any shit. That's also important. The government has to fear the people. And in those areas, the government fears the people. Like Montana and Wyoming, the government fears the people. You look at a place like Wyoming and Montana and Colorado. Colorado's once again split. Half state yes, half state no. So let's focus on Montana, Wyoming, and same thing with Utah. Half state yes, half state no. Same thing with Nevada. Half state yes, half state no. But obviously the northern part. Wildlife, food production, just natural resources, and it goes up to Canada. That's like a bonus because whatever we need, they got. So that covers that area there. Mineral rights, gold, everything is all up there. Geothermal. Now, this is what I call the no-go zone. That entire Pacific coast. And I love California and I love the Pacific coast. I love it to pieces. I love Nevada, but severe drought, horrible governments as far as, protecting people's rights and planning and attracting business and high taxes, whatever. Yes, Nevada, the north is better than the south. I get it. But you have that, whatever. Arizona, love Arizona to pieces, beyond pieces. Love Arizona. Love it to death. Lived there for a while as well. Problem I have with it is water, and the government there has allowed a lot of foreign interests to come in and suck up the natural waters sources, and it's a desert. Okay, it's a desert, like for real, like So California is the most beautiful state in the entire country. There's nothing about it. There's no state. California is it. But California has the most communist, radical, leftist, corrupt motherfuckers in government that, they will make fucking, Chavez proud. They will, fuck the government there. And everybody in California will tell you that. Something goes wrong, cities like LA, San Francisco, Oakland, poof, overnight will be mayhem. It will be mayhem. And where are the people going to run to? The desert on a tank of gas? Good luck. See how much traffic you sit waiting there. You run out of gas halfway to Palm Springs. No joy. But I love California. On the right leadership, a changeover, some radical policy, that fucking thing, shit. California could be like the Dubai of America. But just saying. So I gave everybody the mix. And I go, look, which one do I choose? You got to put a strategy for you, what works. Are you going to need a job? Can you find a job there? What type of housing, your bracket? You know, the traditional stuff like that. So if you're looking to take money from these plays and go there, just think about sustaining yourself there. We all have 6 months to start making our moves. Probably less than those 6 months. For me, it's nothing. I pick up a bag, gone. But for other people, you guys got to start thinking about it. So the resources are there. Start looking. And trust me, with what's coming now, where they're going to force medical procedures on you, well, you might lose your job because of you know, this or don't. What's the next? You're going to get arrested if you don't? What's the safety of your kid going to school? Are they going to round up your kids and do it to them? Is the local police department, sheriff department going to accompany state, you know, like child services workers, social workers to do this? Are they going to have entry points to your home via your kids? Well, we need to check their safety and wellness. Like, it's happening. Like, we're going into that world where a lot of things are happening. Imagine getting pulled over. Hi, can I get your driver's license, your registration, your insurance, and your vaccination card? Let me tell you something. It's to a point. Them motherfuckers like me, that shit ain't gonna sit well. So what I'm looking to do, and everybody that knows me, I'm like, let's pull the fuck out. Let's see everybody show their hands, and then we take care of what we gotta take care of. Another thing, DC is no longer the capital of America. We have a split government. We had a coup that happened. I don't care who you voted for, but at the end of the day, you know clearly that we're split, okay? That's just how it goes. 9/11, look what just happened. Everybody, first responders were all a hero on 9/11, all right? And then the day after, they're gonna get fucking fired because they didn't take the ouchie. So you're a hero on 9/11, the 11th, but on the 12th, you know, you're a danger to society because we're in a weird fucking place. So I gave you a rundown of all of America. Alaska, solid 100%. One problem: getting things up there, trucking it up there from the lower 48s. You know, the weather is one thing, but there's a lot of other issues that are coming. Our brothers up in Canada have become a little bit too comfortable allowing the Chinese government coming in, Chinese military coming in. And the Canadians know this and can confirm it on the bottom. You know, winter training and Chinese government police doing training and interrogation type stuff in British Columbia. Not good to have between us and Canada and Alaska. Do you understand? So love Alaska to pieces, but a lot of people want Alaska for the resources there. Alaska is amazing. It is amazing. The people are amazing. The resources are amazing. But strategically, Russia wants it, so does China, and you're cut off from the lower 48s. So Wolverine up, motherfuckers. So that's my whole take on there. And as far as the Canadians, I know you motherfuckers are getting ready to rip bones very soon. So I'm with you, motherfuckers. Once we solve the problem down here, trust me, we have people that are going to go up there and talk to you people too, because we can't move forward letting motherfuckers up there be a threat to us on the northern side. So North America. Now remember, this has nothing to do with race. Black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Jew, transgender, whatever. I don't care. Midget. You know, if you're some kind of a transgender barista with a half a tit, I don't give a fuck. You understand? I don't give a fuck about that. If you're a person, cool people, you know, our people, like for real, that's what we want. Everybody to live in peace. So these are basically, I give you the quick rundown across the board. Look at New York, what they just did. 62% tax. So 62% tax, but the capital gains was what? Going to go up to 40 something. So if an investor, which is what a lot of people have to do to live here, or high income earner, how do you make a dollar? If they're going to take 62% for the state, and 40-something% capital gains. That don't even make any sense. By the way, it's another one. Law enforcement, cops. How many cops are quitting their departments because they refuse to ouchie and they go into small towns? So what's going to happen to, you understand? What's going to happen to cities? Crime like crazy. Crime, kidnap, extortions, yada, yada, yada. Plan accordingly, because you're going to come into money soon. And when this happens, please understand, we're living in a different world. You know, on one side it says a woman has a right to choose, but if she chooses not to take an ouchie, oh no, you cannot do that. Some hospitals are refusing to deliver babies because of that. You know, you got to understand where I'm pointing you towards. I'm pointing you towards surviving what's coming, because what's coming is, once again, availability versus, you understand? I wish it wasn't that. I wish it wasn't that, but that's the reality. So when people ask me, where am I thinking of going and stuff like that, you know, that's the planning that has to be done. I technically advise anybody with a family, kids, like within the next 6 months, I say within, I would say start getting out of major metropolitan cities, especially New York City. You know, for me, I'm green light. I'm good to go. What about Lou? But you got a family here, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. Supplies don't come in. Yeah, because what happens when the truckers decide to go, you know what? We're not going into New York no more. That's when you're gonna have some nightmare scenarios. And if you think that's not the case, you don't know interstate truckers very well. Because those motherfuckers, when they decide to say no, America stops. And right now, they're trying to fuck with them to be like, you have to be vaccinated to come in and to operate and whatever. So they'll just turn around and tell their carrier, yeah, listen, I'm cool, but I'm not going into New York, Philadelphia. I'm not going into Jersey. I'm not going into Boston. What happens? Where does the food come from? Skyscrapers? So I gave you a lot to think about there. This is just about relocation. Let's call it like the Colonel did. Strategic relocation. So lose strategic relocation. Okay? That's just how it is. Unfortunately, I wish it was different, but when you take a look at it, I've seen people go crazy and fight each other over canned products in some countries. And these people were all educated at one point. And then, tell you an interesting story. Still remember these two for the rest of my life. I will always remember these two. I was in a fucked up part of the world. I'm not gonna say which one, but you can imagine. Fucked up part of the world. And I just left an area where our government collapsed. And in the next country over the border, there was the national road, which was smooth like butter, and a side road like the old road that didn't have tolls. And a lot of the poor people had to take that road. And there was a mother and a son with a shovel and a bucket collecting dirt to pour into potholes to make it smoother, and asking for like money for their repairing the road. That's what they did for a living in a fallen society. A mother and a little son with a bucket and a shovel trying to repair the road and ask drivers if they went by for like a donation. I shit you not. America's in danger. Canada's in danger. China is in danger, and they are going to come. They've publicly stated that they are going to come for what we have. I posted that on the Instagram yesterday. Their military is publicly saying they're coming once we collapse. And that is coming on multiple fronts. So you may think I'm crazy, but trust me, my community is money people, intelligence people, federal people. Please heed my warning. Love you, motherfuckers. Go to sleep, relax. We still got time, okay? But don't fall asleep on this, because you don't want to be the guy waking up in the morning and going, What's the city? Why is there fires? Remember last summer? Don't forget. Giant hugs.